Did you know that feelings or emotions that can be challenging, like grief, anger, resentment, when we try to repress them and suppress them and not think about them because they feel so uncomfortable to feel? We always love to stay in our comfort zones, but when we won't allow ourselves to feel those things, it will also disconnect us from feeling other emotions of joy, bliss, and pleasure in our body. And we can literally feel numb inside our body. So it's really important that we allow ourselves to have the space to grieve. I was in my own moments of grief today because this also would be my mother's 91st birthday, and she also transitioned on this day as well many years ago. I'm just so thankful for the deep healing that I've had through my grief process. And I was sitting here, I was just like, I'm going to take it easy today. And I realized I hadn't created anything to share today. So this is from my heart to share with you some things that I've done to help me through the grieving process and come out the other side. And it can be quite a journey. It comes in waves or layers. But when you move through that and you allow yourself to feel the feelings of it, we have to feel it to heal it, then you will also allow the other feelings that you want to feel within your body and not feel so disconnected. Because so often in our world, we're human doings instead of human beings. And we're always thinking or analyzing things, but not allowing ourselves to truly feel. And your body holds so much wisdom. So, this is about grief, numbness, and your path to bliss. And grief, again, can lead to numbness, disconnecting us from our bodies and the ability to experience the immense pleasure that's possible for us. And yes, you may be tapping into pleasure, but it's not going to be to the level or those heightened, prolonged states of ecstatic bliss that's possible and available to you. Now, I'm going to share with you the emotional impact that unresolved grief can have. We usually suppress these things, and suppression and repression lead to depression. And depression is something that my mother suffered with. But when we stuff things down, or we choose a substance or food, or we do other vices to disconnect and kind of forget about those things, then we're suppressing that emotion. I want you to think of being in a kiddie pool. Just imagine a little pool, like when you're a kid, and there's a bunch of beach balls in there, and you're trying to push these balls and keep these balls under the water, and it's so exhausting because every time you're pushing it down and then all of a sudden they're popping back up. So if you can get rid of these balls that are in your like kiddie pool, I want you to imagine. And if you could take these out and remove these difficult emotions and feelings that are trapped inside of your body, how much more space would you have in your life to create things, not just inside the bedroom, but inside your world, the relationships you want? You have so much more spaciousness. Unprocessed grief can lead to buildup of negative emotions, such as sadness, anger, and guilt. These feelings can be overwhelming and difficult to manage, potentially leading to anxiety and depression. Then that physical disconnection, our body can hold on to that grief, and it can lead to physical symptoms as well. That's what I would see a lot as a nurse. A lot of my patients had these challenging emotions, or they had a history of PTSD or some big traumatic event. They're holding that emotion, it's trapped inside their body, and that leads to dis-ease, disease, and it presents as symptoms because your body is trying to get you to pay attention to this. So, when we hold on to that grief, that can again lead to the physical symptoms like tension, feeling tired, having stomach digestive problems. It can also create a sense of being detached from, again, the sensations, and limits the ability to fully experience pleasure and connection with someone else. The mind body connection and how grief disconnects us, we can have that emotional suppression. When we suppress grief, our bodies store it in our tissues. And that leads to tissue, and even you could be having chronic pain, aches and pains. And a lot of times you have to be curious if you're noticing a pain or discomfort in your body, ask it, what is it trying to show you? What is it trying to reveal to you? We can numb and avoid emotional pain because we can turn to unhealthy coping mechanisms, further disconnecting us from our bodies. It's just bring us further away from a solution instead of really helping us. But it seems like a easy fix. It doesn't require us to really feel all the feels and feel the sadness, and that really sucks. But again, tears, when you allow tears to fall and to come, tears are very cleansing. They release the stress hormone cortisol, deeply healing. But in our society, unfortunately, especially for men and a lot of men that I work with, there's so much pressure on men in our world to be the protector, the provider, the strong one. And when men were growing up as boys, they were told, big boys don't cry. And so you were programmed from a very young age to disconnect from feelings of sadness, to disconnect from these things. And then you let it go on so long, then you can have an angry outburst because you've just suppressed and stuffed it down so long. So then it pops up in a really destructive way. Then you connect with a woman and you're in a partnership or relationship and she is desiring you to connect with her more deeply, but you're like, hey, I have never been taught how to connect with my emotions. This is a lot for me. So it shows up in our relationships in any way. Again, having those unhealthy mechanisms, disconnecting us from ourselves and from others as well, and inhibiting the pleasure that's available to us. That numbness can affect our ability to experience joy and pleasure as we become more disconnected from these sensations in our body. We can't just tune into only good feeling sensations and ignore where our body needs some TLC. Tantra offers a holistic approach to being able to heal trauma. I began my healing journey with Tantra over a decade ago, and I was wondering why I had such healing from my childhood traumas. And what I discovered and learned when I became a trauma informed master coach is that the three things that support healing trauma are breath, sound, and movement. Well, the three tenets of Tantra for over 5,000 years is breath, sound, and movement. I was like, oh, light bulb moment. Okay, that's how I began healing some of my childhood traumas. The way that it helps you too is having more body awareness, emphasizing on that connection with our sensations in our body, releasing those trapped emotions, and restoring our vitality. And then through mindfulness and presence, meditation practices, breath work, we can create more connection to our bodies and be more aware of what we're thinking, what we're feeling, what emotions without being judgmental, giving ourselves compassion. And then that connection to our soul, to our higher self, and just connecting to the spiritual nature. I know before Tantra, I been a nurse for decades and I just felt like just was a mind and a body and I was so disconnected from my soul. I felt like I was a human body having an experience of living on earth. And truly it's that my spirit, my soul is here in my body is not fully me. My body is just this meat suit, is just this vehicle for me to come into this universe and experience life. And I thought that my body was all that I was, right? And I realized my body is just something that can shift from lifetime to lifetime. I know everyone has their different beliefs. This is just a belief that I've been aware of and Tantra helped me connect into is that I'm a soul, and that's the most important thing I need to be paying attention to. But in our modern world, we're conditioned to think about how much money we're making, how high our grades are, our performance. There's so many things and all these metrics in the outer world of checking the boxes and seeing if we're doing anything right. And we're so disconnected from our true essence, that almost childhood wonder of what brought us here and exploring things and really being tapped in. And our body holds so much wisdom. So again, that interconnectedness of deepening our connection to the divine, to source, to a higher power outside of us. Some emotional release practices for grief. You can even do something like emotional release writing. And when you do emotional release writing, you just want to write like scribble because you're not going to read it again later. It's just a cathartic release of writing these things that you're experiencing. And it's better than typing them out because whenever you write things down, you make over 10,000 motor neuron connections with that. Whereas if you're just typing things out, it's just you make like 10 connections. It's not as deep. And then just whatever that feeling you feel, just write it out and then safely tear it up and destroy it, return it to nature. If you can do a safe burn of it, of course, don't start any fires and release it back to nature. And this is not something you're going to continue to revisit again. You're going to let that go. Find a quiet space where you can do that, free from distractions. You can even play a song that makes you feel that emotion, that will make you feel that sadness, will make you feel the anger, whatever that emotion is to help you connect into it a little bit more. And then connecting to your breath, taking nice, long, slow, deep breaths. Remember, deep breaths are like little love notes to your body and just take some time to really connect and breathe in. A lot of times in our modern world, we just breathe very constricted and shallow and from here up. And when we're newborns and babies, we breathe really big from our bellies. But again, as we start to play small and be programmed as society to not take a lot of space, we start to constrict because we see that the adults have started breathing that way with all the tension that's in their bodies. You're just kind of restricting and you're not expanded and taking so much space. So allow your breath to take that space for you. And just acknowledge that grief that you have. Allow yourself to feel the sadness, the pain, any other emotions that are present there. Don't judge them. Just allow them to be and to flow through you. And again, crying, writing, even if you can be in nature and do a primal yell and just let that out is so healthy. You can yell into a pillow. I don't sleep on that pillow. You'd want to sage it or shake it out before you would ever want to sleep on it again because you're putting all that emotion into that object. And if you sleep on it, your dreams might not be the best. A little woo, but very true. And then embracing that self compassion, be gentle with yourself like you would a friend that would be grieving or going through a hard time. A lot of times we will show more compassion for someone else or a stranger or a friend than we will for ourselves. Just know that this is just a natural part of life. We all have seasons in life: spring, summer, winter, fall. All of these seasons that we have. And even in nature, the seasons change and the leaves on the trees, they turn brown and they fall off and they die, and then it's a rebirth. So we have these seasons within ourselves of feeling these emotions. Reconnecting to your bodily sensations, again, breathing with awareness, just tapping in. You could put one hand on your heart and say, I am loved. One hand on your belly, I am safe. And then just focus on your breath and just breathe in and out and notice as you breathe in through your nose and breathe it all the way down to the bottom of your spine. And then exhale. And when you breathe out, use sound. Exhale with a sigh and go, ha, and just let that out. Again, that takes so much tension off your body. The three tenets of Tantra are breath, sound, and movement. And sound, when you use that as you exhale, sound is like a thief and it steals that tension from your body. Then doing a body scan and just sit here for a moment and just imagine from the top of your head down through your body that you're relaxing all the tension from your forehead, your eyebrows, the muscles to your face, allowing your jaw to drop. We hold a lot of tension in our jaw. Just allow your body to fully relax and noticing your body, notice any sensations that you're having. And then just doing any movement, gentle movements, stretching or walking can really help you. What's really supportive of our nervous systems is walking because a lot of our nervous system is in our legs. So going for a walk, connecting to nature. And another practice is dancing. One of my coaches is Preston Smiles, and he uses a practice he recommends that I've used. And it's really powerful, and it's called Dance Yourself Clean. And it's not like doing something choreographed. It's definitely more like dance like no one is watching and play a song that will elicit a certain emotion and allow yourself to feel it. And then just feeling your body where that contraction, where that stiffness, where that feeling is, and let it move out through you because you can move that energy out. Emotions are just energy and motion through dance, through movement. And dance involves breath, sound, and movement because you increase your breathing rate. You're using sound, you're listening to sound, you're moving your body and moving that energy. It's really important to get into that state. Now, when you want to create a sense of having more pleasure, more bliss in your body, just again, being able to tune into your body. So often in our modern world, we live from the neck up and we don't experience as much sensations in our body. But Tantra helps you to use your five senses to drop into your body and to connect more deeply through the sensations. That's why you can experience more bliss with Tantra practices because you're more connected to your body. You're not just going through the motions. How often someone is making love, but it's more performative, or you're just doing the motions and you're thinking of it, but you're not really feeling it. You're not fully there. You're not really allowing your body to fully connect and be open and responsive to yourself and to your lover. And then doing gentle movements, just in activities that bring joy, that are playful, like when you're a child, dancing, things that give you that mind body connection and let you drop into your body. And notice the simple pleasures. Like you can even eat in a tantric way, like slowly taking a bite and not rushing through every bite. As a nurse for decades, my breaks will be so small. is short because, people's lives are on the line. You've got to hurry back and take care of your patient. So I would get used to eating very fast. But with Tantra, the invitation is for you to slow down. So when you're slowing down with Tantra practices, you're savoring every bite. You're feeling the sensation, the texture of the food, the flavors, the smells. Use all of your five senses. Just even in the practice of eating is really beautiful. So you can do this with everything, really savoring being with a lover, savoring moments you're sharing with friends and really connecting in a deeper way with intention. Pay attention to the small things that bring you joy and make you feel good and invite more of that into your life. Embracing the journey of emotional healing, that's going to involve having compassion for yourself and having emotional healing and being kind to yourself, because when people are not kind to others, you're usually not kind to themselves. When they're judgmental of themselves, they're judgmental of others. What is going on as in here is how we express things outwardly. Start to be more compassionate to yourself, and that's going to enhance all your relationships because you'll also be able to be more compassionate in relationship with others. But if you can't do it for you, you won't be able to do it for another in such a powerful way. And then your inner strength, just discover that you have that resilience, that strength. And remember when you're having a challenging time that this too shall pass. There have been other challenging times in your life, years or decades ago, that you thought we're going to take you out. Like you're like, there's no way I'm going to get past this. And here you are today. So just remember, yes, there's something here. What am I supposed to learn from this? And knowing that we can't control other people, we can only be in charge of ourselves, and that it's not our responsibility to change or rescue everyone. People have that freedom of choice. So just knowing that and then working with Tantra helps you have that emotional mastery, that emotional intelligence. So will help you navigate life, relationships, and be better in your business as well. Then the inner strength, that resilience, you navigate the challenges within you and you know how to respond to challenging emotions instead of being reactive. Our ability to respond is our responsibility. It's really key in changing things up in our lives. Now, I hope this was helpful. If you'd like to learn more about Tantra, I have a free Tantra quiz at yestantra.com. And you can also apply for a complimentary discovery call to work with me and be guided more deeply. Please like, subscribe, and share this. And I hope you have an amazing day. Blessings.